What's going on, people? It's T Streets. And introduce yourself for the people, man.
Hey y'all, it's FM underscore Go Daisy.
FM underscore Go Daisy. Alright, so we talking about the recidivism, man. Reforming from out of prison. You know, taking those core values and making the best out of them, man. Learning from the core values that we didn't have before we went to prison, the core values we didn't develop while we was in prison, and you know, how we gonna take, we gonna add on, or we gonna detract from those core values we done developed in prison. So, as y'all know, man, when you go to prison, you know what I'm saying, you got politics to deal with, you got different personalities to deal with, you feel me? And a lot of the ways you might have came up with on the streets, different things you might have done on the streets, you can't really do up in there because it's a certain line of respect that you gotta respect. You feel me? For everybody that's up in there walking on the lines, you know. So today we're gonna talk about the core values that we have, like mind your own, you live long, you know. Don't disrespect me, don't step on my shoes, or you know, different things like that. You know, some of us have a lot of morals, some of us have a lot of certain things that we won't do, certain things that we will, you know, depending on the situation. So what are some of the core values that you think you had before you went to prison, and the core values that you developed while you was in prison?
One, staying solid. Being solid amongst other men. Talk less, be more about action. And pretty much two main ones. Two of the good main ones.
Yeah, those are good values, man. You know, one thing you learn quick when you go up in the joint, man, is to watch what you say. And not want to put yourself in a position or a predicament, you feel me, that you can't get out of, you know? You know, you don't want to disrespect the wrong person, say the wrong thing to the wrong person, because, you know, it get real up in there, man. It get real in the field, you know? So, you know, we just trying to get to a point to where, you know, we realize that we've got to a point, actually, to where we realize there's certain things that we've done in there, or certain traits that we've developed in there that we can't bring out to the society, because people get offended easily. They might see things differently. They might have a different comprehension, a different way of comprehending things. So the way people comprehend things out here will be different from the way we comprehend things, right? So while we trying to figure that out, we gotta understand that, you know, it's mental health issues. It's a lot of different issues that play a part in getting an understanding with somebody. So some things that, you know, we might take the wrong way, they might not know no better. You feel me? They might not be aware. See, we very much aware of what we do in there because we have time to reflect, take things in, and you know what I'm saying, ponder on things. You know? So if you ever in a situation where you feel like this person is disrespectful, or this person is he's stepping outside, he's crossing a boundary, That's another thing is boundaries. It's a lot of boundaries, and you gotta set those boundaries. You know. So it's like, you know, how do you deal with setting boundaries in a society where people really don't know their boundaries? You know.
And that's where the complication comes from, I believe. Is how do we set the boundaries? How do we set a boundary with individuals that don't live or have not walked the life that we need to live? I believe that's where it all stems from. So understanding, seeking to understand a little bit more rather than to be understood. That's what's popping up in my head right now. And that's what I think a lot of us fail to do at given times. Because we want to be understood so much rather than understand the next.
Right.
So after, you know, kind of understanding the next person or the next individual, then we could be able to, you know, probably dialogue and set some boundaries or talk about specific boundaries other than feeling like, okay, I need to do it at this direct time, at the direct moment in time that a boundary is crossed. But you know, like, I mean, you know, being incarcerated, majority of the time, when boundaries is crossed, something happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of the times boundaries across something happens. In prison, there are repercussions to things. You feel me? So you learn early on not to do certain things, and that's with life too. You know, like when you was young and you behaved a certain way or did something that your mom or your pops told you not to do, immediately you got a whooping or something, right? You got into a fight at school, you were suspended. So there are repercussions to things. There are disciplines, so to speak, right? And that's what's wrong with the world right now. I believe that so many things are swept under the rug, overlooked, because society has made these things allowable. They've allowed these things, you know? And coming from prison, we have a different moral compass, where we see things, where we see things, you know, a certain way. So we won't do this, we won't do that, because we know that if we did this in prison, you know, there were repercussions and shit. Now, that is a gift and a curse at the same time, right? Because it puts you in a position where you're uncomfortable to deal with certain individuals. You know, you're put in a situation where you can't necessarily be yourself. That's part of the change that comes along with prison. There's a lot of us, if you think about it, we had a whole different personality before we went to prison, right? You know, we might have been funny, we might have clowned a lot, you know, joked around and everything like that. But prison takes you and makes you and turns you into something different from who you were. That's why they say you know, it's like that saying, you put an animal in a cage, he's gonna come out a beast. You know, and all animals aren't necessarily beasts. You feel me? But if you put him in a cage and treat him like an animal, he's gonna become a beast. And that's what happens. So when you got this kid that, you know, might not have necessarily been a bad kid, you know, might have just had some bad, you know, made some bad decisions. And you put him in a situation where he's surrounded by all these killers and all these murderers and robbers and stealers, and, you know, convicts, right? And you turn him into something that he's not.
You gotta adapt and survive.
That's right. Yeah, you gotta adapt, to your circumstances, your situations. So now you come back out and you like, damn, you in a world that you don't know nothing about. You in a world that you cannot even comprehend, man. And that's an uncomfortable position to be in. And you are left with, you're thrown into this maze, and you have to get yourself out this maze with the tools that you have. Those core values, those core traits, whatever it is that you done developed in prison. Your respect, your moral compass, everything you done developed in prison, and things you know before prison, you have to come into this world and you have to adapt and adjust. They want you to get a job. They want you to get off parole. But what society doesn't talk about is all the stacks that are against you as a black man. You know what I'm saying? As a brown man, as a Mexican man, you feel me? Any man besides, and even if you white, you kind of like a minority if you go to prison. You know what I'm saying? You got this record on you, so that's that's one strike against you. You feel me? Then add to the fact you might come from a neighborhood, you walk a certain way, talk a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Those are other strikes that against you. Now add to that, you don't have education, you don't have a GED, you don't have a degree, a business degree, whatever degree. It's gonna be hard for you to find work. And you got kids, you got a family to take care of. You're left with few choices to take care of your family. So that's where you have to learn different traits and pick up different. You got to pick up different traits in order to learn how to adapt. And how are you gonna do that if you don't know nothing besides what you already know?
The thing to do is get into the uncomfortable and get to, learning different new things other than what we already know, what we didn't picked up. I mean, some of the things that we didn't picked up, I'm going to speak for me personally. It's a lot of things that I didn't picked up in prison or that I expended upon that it's good for society out here too. Or it helps me remain in society, in this society out here, other than the society incarcerated.
Right. Two different worlds.
Yeah.
Right.
For instance, like my power to restrain. Stopping myself. But at the same time, my restraint also allows the individual to continue to do what they think they might be doing to, develop my essence, my peace of mind, or my growth and development. By not even saying anything or applying the action that needs to be applied to put restraints on something else. You get what I mean by that?
To put restraints on something else, to stop them from going to the next phase. If they think they're doing something, you put a hold on that. Or, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes that might be violent. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing, learning how to, that's one of the main things I think needs to be discussed. Learning how to speak without violence. Right?
Speak without violence. Communication.
It's so much of that violent communication growing up that we see with our parents, with our loved ones, with family members, friends, that we've picked up on that. And for a lot of us, that's the only way we know how to communicate, right? until you learn different ways to communicate. So it's vital that we learn different ways to communicate, because us as felons, we can't communicate with our hands because we'll get locked up. You know, the repercussions for us, right, are way more serious than the repercussions for the average citizen. We cannot afford to put ourselves in that situation because of those repercussions. And knowing that a lot of people out there will take that and use that against you. You know, oh, I felt threatened. Oh, I felt my life was in danger. This is what they did with Trayvon Martin, right? Whatever the dude's name is in Florida, Zimmerman or whatever, right? He felt threatened because this young teenage boy had a hoodie on, right? This case happened years and years ago, but he felt threatened by the boy because the boy had a hoodie on. Said he was reaching for a weapon. All he was reaching for was some Skittles in his pocket. You know? Some candy. And, you know, we could go on and on and on about the different situations that have been transpired between just a regular black man or a black boy, because he was a teenager. You feel me? But because of our stature, our height, the way we might walk, the clothes we might wear, we are deemed as threats. Now, knowing that, black men, knowing that, we have to take different things into account and be aware of how we are presenting ourselves out here, because it's vital that we do that, especially if we are ex-felons, because our families need us, our kids need us, and our women need us. And if we don't want to be perceived as violent criminals, we have to do our part. And a lot of the times it's hard for you to do that part if you don't know the resources, if you don't know how to find a job, if you don't know how to present yourself. They have classes, they have courses on that, they have places you can go to, and they have different podcasts and shows on TV that you can watch to learn these things. However, one of my recommendations I would give right now is a place called ARC. It's called ARC for Anti-Recidivism Coalition. This is an organization that is comprised of ex-felons. Most of the people that work there are ex-felons, people that just got out of prison from doing numerous years of time in prison, and they aim to change the recidivism, turn around the recidivism rate. There's too many of us getting locked up, there's too many of us doing time, and there's too many of us returning back to prison. We're trying to end mass incarceration. This is modern day slavery. You know, they cannot legally enslave us, but through the prison system, they have came up with a way to put us in there and have us working for them, making pennies on a dollar. We're not helping our families, we're not being presentable for the community, we're not being able to help our women or our children, not to mention ourselves. So we got to be aware of that. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Being aware, you know. What are some things that you feel like you have become more aware of yourself since you've been home, that you would say are institutionalized traits? Because I think we all got them. You know, we get stuck in a rut. You know, you coming home from prison, it takes a while to get outside of that mentality, get outside of those regular things that you did every day, like wash your clothes in the shower, like wear shower shoes in the shower, like, you know, waking up at a certain time, rolling up your mattress, eating certain foods.
What I'm aware of about myself personally is that through my demeanor, I'm pretty much, as my sister would tell me, you intimidate, unapproachable,
Standoffish.
standoffish,
I heard that one before. Yeah.
in which is I'm not. At the end of the day, if you're a person who really want to get to know me or talk to me, I'm very approachable.
Right.
I mean, I'm open to approach.
You're open to approach. Right. You're open to approach. Do you agree that you're approachable at times? Just like if you was to take yourself outside of yourself, right? And look at yourself. You know, the way you stand, you know, how do you feel? Because a lot of the times we might not know that we are looking unapproachable, right?
Right.
We might feel that, you know, you can come talk to me, I'm cool people, but are we really approachable?
I mean, it's times that I'm not approachable. I don't even want to conversate. I don't want to. Right now, I'm in my own thoughts. I'm in my own self. I'm in my own zone.
Right.
But no harm to no one.
No harm to nobody. Exactly.
But I ain't gonna say. But you can. Let me rephrase that. You can approach me, but I probably ain't gonna give you like
Oh, you're not gonna welcome a conversation or welcome.
I'm not gonna be enthusiastic about talking to you or dialogue with you about too much of anything.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I gotta go through a process of, okay, now let me deal with this individual. Because now I gotta get outside myself at this given moment when I'm probably thinking about something and, you know, dealing with myself.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But as far as on a daily, thing like that, yeah, I feel like I'm unapproachable. Very welcoming. I just might have some other things on my mind. And it might not even be bad. Majority of the time it ain't even bad. I'm probably just trying to memorize something. Think about something that's productive. Think about the businesses that I want to, you know, start up, that I aspire to continue in creation. And you might be a distraction to that. Or that individual might be a distraction to that thought process.
Right.
You know? Now, and man, that's pretty much it really as far as. But I do know that a lot of the time our body language gives a whole different perspective.
Right.
Gives a whole different outlook. Gives a whole different display of probably what's going on in your head or what you're thinking about. You know. So, you know.
It definitely does. You know, that's why I asked the question, because it's not too often that we really take ourselves outside of ourselves and look at ourselves. You know, I remember when I was in the joint, they had an exercise they used to have us do, and in the middle of nowhere, they'd be like, "Okay, put your hand over your face and just slowly bring your hand over your face."
Just slowly bring your hand over your face?
Yeah, slowly bring your hand over your face and notice your facial expression, right? You feel the frown. Like, do you feel the frown? Do you feel, you know, because as you do the exercise, you'll notice. You're not smiling, you might got a frown, like you might make that frown disappear, you might make the whole face expression change. But it brings awareness to your facial expression, because a lot of the times we're not aware it's so often because of the environment we're coming up in or the lifestyle we've came from, it's normal for us to frown, you know, and which causes a crease in the forehead. You know, mad dog, you know, what's going on with it, you know? And until you're aware of that, you're not really aware of how people are perceiving you when they come around. So when they come around and they like, you know, you see them look at you, but you see them walk away. You know why? You know, because you're not really approachable at that time. And you don't know it. You know what I'm saying? Not too many of us know it because like you said, we be in our own thoughts. You know what I'm saying? We be in our own thoughts with business. We trying to start, you know, exercise we might want to do, homework we might want to do, you know, family issues, relationship issues, personal issues, whatever the case is, we'll be in our own thoughts. And, excuse me. So because we in our own thoughts, we're not worried about what the next person is thinking or what they, you know, you're not worried about being approachable. Sometimes I'm not approachable. I'm just gonna be real. Yeah. Sometimes I'm not in a, and I notice it. I notice it because I've become conscious of myself enough to know, okay, I'm not feeling it right now. Mm-hmm. I'm not feeling it. I ain't in a good mood, you know, so I don't go around people because I know I'm not in a good mood. I'm not in the mood to be bothered. And if I do have to be around someone and I'm in that mood, I let them know, like, right now, not a good time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want you to be offended if you try to talk to me and I, you know, brush you off or, you know, I say something that you're not trying to hear at that time. Because I'm not trying to hear it. I'm really not trying to hear it. So I don't try to come around and be out and about like that so nobody's offended by that. But being aware of that, you know, it helps us to see where other people are coming from and look at ourselves. And, you know, okay, so if I go on this job interview today, I gotta make sure my energy is right. You know, I gotta make sure I meditate, I gotta make sure I, you know what I'm saying, clean up right, dressing right, pants is up and all of that. I gotta present myself right. Yeah. You know, energy is everything. And one thing we learn, because we have so much time to reflect on ourselves and deal with ourselves in there, man, that we know when we in a good mood and when we not. You feel what I'm saying? When we approachable and when we not. Like you said, I might be approachable, but I might not be enthusiastic about the conversation. Yeah. Because a lot of times, some conversations be frivolous. You know? And you know, I'm kind of big on not carrying on frivolous conversations because that makes me a frivolous person in my mind. You know what I'm saying? So we're taught to make our days productive. You know, a lot of us come from that era where we had to study in prison. We had to work out. We had to practice certain disciplines. You know, we had to study certain languages and read certain books and do essays and write about what we read. So I can't speak on the generation, other generations, but when I came up, that's what we had to do. So it was vital that our time was, you know, used productively. Yeah. All those hours throughout the day wasn't just spent on bullshit. You feel me? Now you got people out here, you know, that's the difference between that society and this society, right? That's a different society. We have to study, we have to exercise, we have to take care of our mind and our body because that's what's getting us from one calendar to the next calendar. And you know, and then when you're doing time, you counting calendars, you're not counting days. You know? So while people out here living amongst, you know, social media and everything else that's going on in the world, they're not taking the time to really pay attention to how their time is being used.
You know what? A lot of times I'll be thinking, sometimes I'll be having to tap back into the way I was thinking when I was incarcerated. And some of the core values that I expanded upon in there. Mm-hmm. More focused, be more focused, mm-hmm. observant. Mm-hmm. restraint.
Mm-hmm.
As you mentioned, studying.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Applying myself to something that's productive.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I be having to tap back into that mind frame
Mm-hmm.
and utilize it out here. It's for one, it's a lot of different it's a lot of different distractions.
Mm-hmm.
Focus and observing is two of the key things that I feel like can help me broaden my horizon out here today.
Most definitely.
You know, when I don't, I become, you know, I'm not getting out as much out of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting as much out of the day as I did even when I was incarcerated. Not saying that incarceration is as much that you go. No, we can do that, all that out here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can do all that out here.
Yeah, most definitely. I think, man, personally, you know, being incarcerated is not a good thing. Not going to jail is not a good thing. However, at the same time, what you do with your time and some of the things that you have learned and developed while in there are good things. You feel what I'm saying? And you can use them for good things. You can teach a lot. We can teach a lot to the youngsters out here that, you know, the average person out here is not teaching them. So we developed and learned core values in there that some of us needed to learn. You feel me? Like discipline and focus and stuff like that. Those are good things we have developed. So prison wasn't all bad. You know, it wasn't always about fights and stickings and, you know, riots and, you know, as far as, you know what I'm saying, you know, the things that you did and how you pass your time. It's what you chose to do with your time. A lot of people did not choose to be involved in gang activity all the time and just, you know, wasting their time on the yard with drugs and fighting and shit like that. Some of us actually went in there and said, we're going to make something out of this time. You know, for instance, I wrote 3 books when I was in there. I wrote music when I was in there. I started learning how to write movies when I was in there. You feel me? And a lot of those traits that I had already had an interest in it. I've been had interest in movies. I've been had interest in music, you know? But I never had the opportunity to do nothing with it. You feel me? And that's the thing I say about God. Like, God does things and puts you in situations to see what you gonna make out of it. You feel me? Like the diamond that has to go through the coal and the fire to transform into the diamond. You feel me? You know, you gotta go through those phases and those trials and tribulations to see what you really made of. He not gonna put you through nothing that he don't think you can handle. You know what I'm saying? So I'm grateful, you know what I'm saying? Even though I lost a lot, you know what I'm saying? Even though I lost a lot of loved ones and a lot of time out of my life, it's taught me a lot of things that I really needed to know. You know what I'm saying? Gave me traits, you know what I'm saying? Gave me, you know, talents, you know what I'm saying? That I'm able to use to this day, you know? So, you know, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing, man.
Pros and cons to it.
Pros and cons, you know? It's always a learning experience. Every day you're learning something different about yourself, for sure. And one thing I did learn was I ain't trying to go back. You know, that shit for the birds. So, yeah, man, ARC, go look into that, man. Go look into them, man. If y'all did time in prison before and y'all need help, you looking for a job, you know, you trying to get into acting, movies, music, whatever it is you trying to do, the people could help you at ARC, man. Anti-Recidivism Coalition, man. Go check them out. And Anti-Recidivism Coalition. At least that's what I think it stands for. I could be wrong. I don't want to, I hope I'm not. But at the end of the day, I'm quite sure you done heard about ARC. Just look them up. They located in downtown Los Angeles. They help you with anything. They give you a life coach. You know what I'm saying? A life coach will help you find a job. You know what I'm saying? Help you do your studies from school. They deal with everything that, a lot of society shuns away from dealing with because, it's not too many jobs, it's not too many help out there, too much help out there for ex-cons and ex-felons, man. So we hope to expand on that. We want to be productive citizens and do what we can to each one, reach one, teach one, We got to be there for ourselves. Metal sharpen metal, people. So, if you see your brother slacking, pick him up. You see somebody over there, headed in the wrong direction, grab them by the bootstraps and get them right. You feel me? Because we the only ones. We got to be there for ourselves. We all we got. So be there for your brother. And allow your brother to be there for you. I don't care where you from, what he got going on, man. If he got his mind right, then it's nothing that y'all can't get done, man. So on that note, we're going to end this episode for right now. Y'all got any questions, tap in, let us know. Any topics you want to talk about, let us know. You can go check me out too, man. I got a movie on Tubi. It's called Long Beach Medallion. Shout out to the crew and the people that sent it. You feel me? You can find it on Tubi. And just keep it productive, man. Be mindful of yourself, man. Be mindful of each other. Be mindful of everything that's going on around you. And always know that tomorrow's a better day. Tomorrow's not promised to nobody. And today is a present. That's why it's called present. You want to say anything, man?
Yeah, man. Take it one day at a time. Be patient with yourself. Love yourself. Trying to make a hard decision. Think about it. Think about consequences and think about the rewards. Which one do you want? It's up to you.
And y'all know what I say, man. Only you can prevent forest fires. We're gonna holler.